Welcome back. If you hear noises in the background, that is my fan, maybe the alarm, I don't know. But if you hear something, it's just don't mind it. I'm sorry. I'm professional, but I'm sorry because I'm not going to fix it. Anyways, today we're going to talk about friendships. How far is a person willing to go, like, to keep friends around? I'm going to share about my experiences and where I stand with friendships in general. So I have no friends. I don't have a best friend. Um, so I'm going to talk about why I don't have a best friend because I have experience, and also why I just don't have acquaintances or someone who's a friend but not best friend but just friends, or family members who I consider friends who are no longer friends or I consider family anymore. But I do respect them and do not mess with them as much. But today specifically, I feel a certain type of way, so I might cuss a little bit. My bad. Um, I'm on my period, so you know how that goes. I'm feeling all types of ways. But it's my true feelings. Feelings that I don't say out loud, but they there. They fucking there. So this is me giving myself a voice. Let's go. Okay, so recently what happened was old friends of mine decided that it was okay for them to talk about me, and I don't like that. I don't like that because of the fact that me and them, like, we fell off for a reason because I was going through stuff in my life which I feel like I will talk about later. But let's talk about how me and these girls first started hanging out. I've Okay, so this one girl in particular is a family member and I've known her forever, so I'm gonna start with her. um During the time that this woman, at that time she was young, during the time that she was young, she got into some trouble, which I will not get into detail. That's her life story. I have no say. But she was pregnant, and then when she was pregnant, she kind of like didn't have a lot of people around her that loved her and supported her, or at least were good to her, giving her good advice and being supportive. I remember a cousin of mine, her name is Hawa. She was always there for her, as I recall, but everybody else just seemed very two faced. And then I decided to, like, not be a part of that group of people who hates on her. So I tried to be supportive the best way I can. And I was not perfect by no means because I was also not wanted by the family. So, yay, something I could bond with her with. So I was always with her as like sisterly love. And then because I was with her, to be honest, I feel like her I'm not sure if I want to talk about her story, how me and her were always, I'm gonna talk about it. Because I wanted to make it into a different series regarding her, but since it's like friendship wise and we are no longer the same anymore, I'm gonna just say here. So as she was going through her tough times, I was there for her. I remember I used to buy her a phone, and then the family would be like, "Why would you buy her a phone, etc." And to me, it was like, why would she not have a phone? Because in case of emergency, like, let her have a phone. Like, it's normal to have a phone. But they were so against it. Like, there was like, "Oh, she's not allowed." Sorry, I was burping. I'm gross. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. But anyways, I'm hoping that I'm hoping it wasn't caught in the audio, but if in case it is, my bad. Anyways, so me being me, I was like, you know what? It's just a phone. Let it be. The fuck. But then it was like, not the fuck. So I got her a phone. I had a phone. Like, it was just, I was just vibing. We was always vibing. And then somehow, someway, they were always never giving her like a really genuine time. Like, they were always hard on her. And I don't, okay, not that I don't know. Well, now I realize that they were trying to do that, I guess, to make her a certain way. Like, tough love, but that's not tough love. That was literally physical and mental abuse. They were abusing the hell out of that girl, and she had nobody. And to them, it was like, we're just trying to correct her. That is why we're doing what we're doing. Nah, like her father would literally beat on her, and that's not okay. And I'm pretty sure her mom probably had laid her hands on her too. I'm pretty sure the brothers have done the same thing, just so they can control her because they feel like she was out of control, and she really wasn't. And I feel like the amount of abuse she endured is what made her the way she was somehow. And I remember through all these things she was going through, I had her back. I had my own place. When I had my own place in a car, mind you, she helped me with learning to drive. Even though she was younger than me, she did help me out with that. And I learned to drive after better. And she used to stay with me, even though they were like, oh, she cannot stay with you because this and that. And I'm like, she's going to be fine. I trusted her. I gave her the freedom to just be herself. Um, be the best mom she can for her baby. Like, I just wanted her to basically have the freedom to be herself without making any giant mistakes or without having to endure the trauma she had at home. I was like, if stay with me, we're gonna be cool. And everything was technically going fine until she met somebody. But then again, I also don't want to get too into what she was doing. But I was there for her always. One of the problems I had with this girl was that um her BF had my home key. Sometimes it would be on my crib, and I really didn't like that. And it's like she was always asking me, can he come over? And I was always skeptical, but because she was in love or whatever, I was like, fine, whatever. And I really didn't see him as a bad person. I really didn't. But I also kind of had a bad vibes. I could get a heebie-jeebies sometimes. But it's her man, so there's that. Eventually I got comfortable with him, and then I started getting uncomfortable with him, and then a lot of problems started to occur because I was always trying to be like, hey, no this, no that. And then again, I turned out to be like her parent, always telling her no this, no that, and that did not go well. But altercation that happened between me and her was like one of the things was that I had told her to basically never really give him the keys to my crib. I did not like that because of the fact that anything could go wrong. So this one night I go to work, I come back to my crib, mind you, I'm in the car, they're chilling, they're talking, they're laughing and stuff, and then her boyfriend looks at me talking about uh he was like, forgive me, and me in the car, and I'm like, for what? He was like, just forgive me. I was like, for what? He was like, just forgive me. I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, mind you, they're driving my car. They pick me up from work. And then we go back to my crib. They drop me off, and then him and her, they go. I forgot to add something. Me and this girl put money together to get a car together. But anyways, her BF was driving the car, and they left, and I went to my crib. And I walk in my crib, and then my home was like, it looks like it was invaded. The TV was broken. I think I still have videos of it in my phone, like Google Save Photos. My TV was broken. I think they probably harmed my cats the way they were hiding. The cat litter was flipped over. The kitchen was messy. My lamps were broken. My bed was broken. The bathroom was messed up. Like, everything was so bad. Like, when I tell you my heart dropped, I started filming and crying. Like, I was literally in tears. And then I called her and I was like, why would you allow this to happen? Like, why would you allow this to happen? Well, I give her a call, and I remember I was crying. I also don't remember how I got to the house, but I ended up going to where she was at with her boyfriend, and I had her ID, and her ID is the only thing she had. And it took a minute for her to get her ID, and because I was so upset and so angry, I literally cut her ID in half. Cut that all the way. And she was like, I didn't do anything. She was crying, but I was too like I was heated as hell. Um, oh crap. I don't want to get this messed up. When I cut her off ID, it was because of something else. Um, when I found out how my crib was, I honestly, like, basically kicked her out. I kicked her out. Told her, get your stuff, just leave. Just leave. Like, just leave. And she found a friend, and that friend helped her take her stuff, and she started staying with a different person. And then after a while, I guess things kind of calmed down a little bit, and I was kind of like talking to her and stuff. And she still drove the car, and as long as I was taking to work, I really didn't mind. But she still had the car and stuff. And then there was this one time I was at my crib, and it was like almost time for work. And after, like, I went to the bathroom, she took the key and ran with it to go drive the car and go somewhere. I guess probably give it to her BF. I don't know. I guess to drop off her broke BF at work. Anyways, I'm only calling him broke because he didn't have a car. I'm messed up, but we can talk about that later. I'm still working on myself. So before she had left with the car, I told her, hey, do not drive. Mind you, my mom had told me, do not give the car out to this person because they might mess it up. And I'm like, it's all right, she could drive, you know what I mean? But before she had left with the car, I ended up telling her, like, hey, wherever you're going, let me drive the car and I will drop you off. She seemed like she was cool with it, but as soon as I step in the bathroom, she takes the keys and she leaves with the car. And I try to call her, no contact. And I try to get hold of her any other way, no contact. But then I started to feel like something bad probably did happen, and my intuition is never wrong. So after a while, it's like 11 or 12, and I get a text from a friend of mine saying, hey, by the way, your sis got in an accident, da, da, da. And I was like, oh, okay. And that kind of hit hard. And I got mad. I was really upset because there was nobody helping us except me. Like, we need this car. Why would you do this to us? And I offered it to literally drive you around, and you said no. And the car got messed up. I guess she got too scared to tell me, like, she messed up. Again, when I'm upset, I do not be thinking logically. I be thinking off of anger. And I was like, ah. So in the morning, I go to her and I take my keys. I take her ID, cut that in half. And mind you, at this time, I'm just angry that this is happening to me because I tried so hard to do what I can for myself. Everything I had, I did it myself because no one else helped me except for the car which she put half on, but no one else was helping us. We're supposed to be there for ourselves. Like, we're supposed to help each other out. That was the whole point of her staying with me. So me being angry, I cut off her ID, and she's just like telling me she didn't do anything or she didn't mean to. Like, I was just, I was too like, okay. The reason I cut her ID off is because my purse was missing. My purse was missing. Someone has stole it. And the only person who had access to my home was the BF. My rent money went missing. So a lot of anger was within me. And the thing is that anyways, I cut off her stuff and she starts crying and all that stuff. I start beefing with it, literally start yelling at everybody. And I'm just like, just take me to my car. Take me to my car. Because that car got my name on it too. You know what I mean? So what she did was a hit and run. It was a red light. And then she drove the car like up a street somewhere. And we went to go get the car. It was messed up really badly. Like, it was driving horizontally. The reason I want to get the car is because it cannot be abandoned. Because they're going to be like, where's this car coming from? It's an abandoned vehicle. And they're like, oh, you could just take the papers out of the car. No one's going to know it's yours. No. They're going to figure it out that belonged to me. So, no. I would rather say what happened. So my mom calls me and stuff. And she's like, well, I told you so. So before things get worse and they think that you're the one who drove it, you better tell the truth and say that so-and-so drove it and she's in a car accident. To this day, she thinks I probably did her wrong by saying that she was in the car and did all that. But I had to, because if I never said it, regardless, it's going to come back to me, and I didn't do anything wrong. I'm an immigrant. I don't want to get deported. And she's a citizen through her parents. So I'm like, no, I'm going to say something. So I ended up saying something. I'm pretty sure her parents advised her, like, oh, we told you social was going to do you wrong. Nah, I tried to help the best way I can, which that did not work out. It's not funny. But afterwards, me and her stopped talking for a hot minute. And she goes through phases with herself, and she had a friend she was with, so she started hanging out with her. Mind you, I lose contact. I don't know what she be up to, who she hangs out with, because of the altercation that happened between us. The animosity was there. So we just kind of didn't hang. And then later on, I guess we squashed things. I didn't squash things after that. I don't quite remember. Oh, I think we squashed things when. I don't remember how we did it, but we ended up talking again. And she used to visit often at my crib after all that stuff had happened. She would visit off like sometimes, and we would just basically just chill. And then after that, she kind of like went MIA with her friends. I cannot say I didn't know what they were up to. I knew what they were up to. Like all the time, I knew what they was up to, but that was none of my business because I wasn't drinking nor doing anything else at that time. I was a good girl. Was past tense. Jesus, it's past tense. I was a goody two shoes. But anyways, there's so many things I want to say, but I want to say one for another episode. So later, after she went MIA, I think I met her again. Like after my lease ended, I just kind of wanted to travel because I was not doing good at home. But that's a story for another time. I don't want to add certain things in here. It's about friendships. I ended up meeting her somewhere in Ohio because I was traveling. That's also a story for another time. I can't. I said hi to her, checked up on her and stuff, and then after that, I had went somewhere else, and I came back to Omaha, and I think I met her back in Omaha. So by the time I came back in Omaha, I had heard that she had gotten married and went to Texas. And then when she went to Texas, I guess she went through stuff with her man, and when she was going through stuff with her man, and she had nobody to go get her. Her family kind of started abandoning her. She tried to change her ways because of the fact that to please her family, so they told her to get married, and she said okay, but she found herself a man who she liked, and of course she went to Texas. And when she went there, I guess things didn't go well. Again, not my story to tell, but all I can say is things weren't going well, and she called me up and said, hey, this is what's happening with me, and me being the best friend that I can be, the best friend member I can be, I took my money and went there and got her. And then I went there with my cousin. I needed someone else to drive to. We went there, we got her, and then we came here. It was all mostly my money because I'm the one that suggested we should go get her because I didn't feel like leaving her over there. It was wrong. So we get her. I had a crib back in Bellevue, and we come back and we live in Bellevue. I told her at first she was staying with her mama, then she started staying with me because her parents didn't really like her husband, which is foul. That's a whole story for another time. I'm so sorry, but I gotta save up that one for another time. But anyways, the parents and the husband didn't really get along. So of course, when she came to me, I just kind of was okay with it. And she stayed with me for a little bit. Before he ended up going back to his state, for some reason I cannot talk about, and I don't want to for a specific reason. Too much respect. And when he went there, I think she went there. She went back to him to Texas, and then when they was there again, they started having a hard time again with the family. And I ended up receiving a phone call, and it was like, hey, I'm going through this and that. And when I heard about the story, I tell this one girl named Elle. I don't like Elle. I can't. I don't want to say hate. That's too much. I strongly have a dislike for Elle. I don't know. Delusional people can. I just. Anyways, at this time, me and Elle was besties. Anyways, so I tell Elle, let's go get um, my friend. I want to give her a name. Um, we're gonna call her Deja. This friend of mine we're talking about, this family friend we're talking about, we're gonna call her Deja. So I told Elle, hey, let's go get Deja and her husband. So Elle is like, nah, I don't want to go get Deja and her husband. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. And I'm like, nah, Deja is a close family member. I do not want her to struggle. So it took some convincing, and then me and Elle, we go get Deja. And when we go get Deja, we stop by the husband mom house. Now, this man's mom is like, no, you may not take my son with you back to Omaha. And I was like, why not? She said, I want him here. And it's like, okay. But he grown, so he's not a kid. And sadly, I had to tell Deja, we cannot take your husband, but I can take you because it's important that you are safe. I don't want you outside. It's cold. It's not good to be roaming everywhere. And I had to break it down to Deja's husband and say, I cannot take you with me because your mother does not want you here. Does not want you to come along. And what she told me was, if you take him with you, something bad will happen to you on the road. It was a threat. Africans know how to do a lot of things. And I was like, okay, we're not going to take him then. The other thing she had said was something like, if you ever go back to Omaha, you will come back to me as a dead body. That's what she told him. And that was it for me. I was like, Deja, we gotta go. Because I gotta come back to a job and everything. So, all sad and all, I had to tell the husband no. And I take Deja with me back to Omaha alongside with Elle and her boyfriend. It was me, Elle, and her boyfriend that drove there. I rented the car because I was a very responsible person. So anyways, again, I used all of my money. I don't know why I'd be doing bad things, but anyways, you have to be there for your friends. So anyways, I used up all my money for all that. And I got her, we came back to Omaha, and when Omaha, she stayed with me. Again, you don't abandon your family. So therefore, I was like, I will not abandon her, even though sometimes we do not get along and we go at it like there's no tomorrow. While Deja was staying with me, I so badly want to talk about Elle, but she's a whole different episode. But when I was with what's her name, Deja, I'm so sorry, I don't want to say her real name. It's up to her if she wants to be like, oh, you're talking about me. Okay, I mean, I didn't say your name, but if you, I'm not here to lie. I'm telling you my truth and what I've seen. That's it. She probably perceived things differently on her side, but I'm telling you what I see from my perception. Okay, okay. I'm glad we're on the same boat. But anyways, once Deja came to like stay with me and stuff, we was all cool. Um, I'm guessing while there were certain times when Deja's man was gone and stuff, where Deja was going low key with somebody. I don't want to say a name, but I also won't lie either. But I'm not going to say the name though. So when Deja was messing with a certain so and so, I remember like this man that was in between me and Deja when I was staying over there. It was so weird. I wish it didn't happen. It's embarrassing as hell. But anyways, this man, he had dreads. He was so like he was cute or whatever. You know what I mean? And you know me, like I'm very quiet. I don't really try to impress nobody and stuff. But whenever like I was usually alone with this dreadhead, he would always like he would say the most beautiful things, and I'm just like, "Aw, you're so sweet." And then there are times where he just wasn't very sweet. But supposedly, I didn't know that Deja had a thing with him at all. And I realized it a little bit too late that Deja had a thing with him. But then again, I didn't understand it because Deja got a man. So therefore, there shouldn't have been a competition. But then again, it was just there. And to me, I used to ask myself, like, huh? Like, Deja has a man. Like, is Deja really. I just really couldn't tell. But then it turned into this whole thing where, like, you knew I liked so and so, so why would you do that to me? I was a wreck. Um, I wish I just kind of stayed away from it. The reason I didn't know is because whenever I was alone with old boy, with this dreadhead, he he just was like, like he was into me. Like I don't know, he just was different. Like he just was different. Like I said, I was dumb back then, so I was just I was into the dreadhead because he seemed like it was into me. But apparently, I don't know anything. Maybe he was also into Deja too, or Deja was into him. But anyways, the energy was quite there. Give me a second. I'm about to eat. I accidentally took a big bite. My bad. I don't know why I'm telling y'all this. It doesn't even matter. That's nice. When I was drinking, it sounded like a fart. I don't know if it like got caught up in the audio, but I'm not editing it out. Anyways, one of the altercations I had with Deja was of the dreadhead. And it was like, to me, I thought that she knew that I was into him. I thought I made it obvious, but I guess not. But he kind of created a rift between us. It was very weird. Very weird. Disappointed in myself. Honestly, I'm disappointed in myself. What was I even thinking? I should have just let them have each other. That's the best thing I could have done because he wasn't even beneficial in any way, shape, or form. But anyways, that's one of the things that caused a drift between me and Deja. But either or, after that boy stopped being over at my crib, um, me and Deja eventually, okay, so you know how, mind you, when this incident happened, Deja's man was back in Texas, so he wasn't aware of what Deja was up to, but I did though. And I honestly, I wasn't going to say nothing to nobody about the whole situation because I quite often seen a lot happen with Deja, and I would be like the whistleblower, always low key bringing the husband up, like you're married, right? But I didn't want to be the one to ruin someone's fun, but I guess oh well. Either or. My point is, I took care of Deja when all these things was going around. I there are times where I really wanted to tell Deja that I didn't want her to be around me, mainly because of the fact that her parents assume that I was the one motivating her to do certain things when in reality I wasn't. Like I was a goody two shoes. What do you mean I'm motivating her to do something? If anything, I learned a lot from Deja. Sorry, I probably said L. We're talking about Deja here. Um, for me, it was like I learned a lot from Deja. A lot of things I learned from Deja. What are you talking about? I'm influencing her. She influenced me. To be honest, it's a shame. At my big age, I was really influenced by Deja. Anyways, I'm not saying I'm mad that I tried some stuff. I'm just saying that I was influenced by Deja, although other people think I influenced her, and it was like her who influenced me. And I'm like, anyways, I'm not mad. Like I said, I'm not mad that I tried some stuff. I'm not. I liked it. Anywho, when Deja's man ends up coming to my crib, ow. When Deja's man, when Deja's man starts like he ends up coming to Omaha by himself. You know what I mean? As long as I didn't bring him there, I was okay with it because I don't want to be cursed. But he came himself, you know, because his mama saying all these cursed things. But he came back by himself, and I guess Deja got back into the habit of being a wife. So still, at this point, the man was a cousin of mine, so I really wanted to basically take care of both of them. I cannot believe I was gonna say to that. I'm so sorry. I hate English. Anyways, that's embarrassing, but I'm not cutting it off. I don't care. Both of them, I took care of them. I had a home, so I was like, why leave someone stranded outside when I could take care of them, when I could help them out? And that's what I did. And everything was okay because we're always looking after each other. I know Deja wasn't working and her husband wasn't working, so I paid my bills myself most of the time, or I had help from L. Can't stand her. I had help from L sometimes, but mostly I was doing it all on my own, figuring it out. And one of the altercations I got with Deja was that they L is included in the story one way or another. But anyways, L did not want Deja around. It's a different story. But anyways, I know that Deja did not want me to be close to L because Deja was like, L is a little weird. I don't think you want L as a friend. You have to watch out for L because when you're not around, L says something. So I'm just like, I don't know if I want to believe that. But then again, I was like, I'm kind of skeptical about L. But then again, L stays with me, so I'm in for an adventure. So. Another altercation I got with Deja and her husband was that there are times where I would get advice from my mother, and she would be like, "Hey, you shouldn't be allowing Elle and her husband staying with you. It's giving off bad vibes. Just don't. Just be on your own. You need to let them people go." And because I was having outside influence, and sometimes like I'd be wanting to make a good relationship with my mama, but so anyways, I listened to her and stuff. It affected me a certain way. So then I ended up my mood started changing up, and I used to tell Elle like, you could just go stay with your mother. And not Elle, Deja. I'm so sorry. I can't stand Elle. And Deja is like calling up her mama, talking about Nina's trying to kick me out, etc. And in my head, I'm like, that's not what I said at all. I just said I prefer you to go to your mama because I used to have like the spiritual welfare and nightmares in my house, and I always felt like something bad was gonna happen, and something bad did happen, which is a story for another time. Something bad did happen, but I always used to tell Elle like to stop doing certain things. I would tell her to go to her mama, but not because of hate. It's because I'm like, if you want to do better in life, if you want change, you gotta make sure you step out that door, not out of hate, just go outside and go find yourself. Like basically just go out and do better. But that's not how she's seen it. And whenever she would upset me, it's the same thing. If we cannot get along, there's no reason for you to be around me at all. And that's not out of hate. I don't want to see you in the streets or anything. Just go grow somewhere else, because this is not working out. And they always felt like I was a very hateful bitch. And I wasn't. I was under a lot of stress from everything that was going on around me. But my point of the story is, from the beginning, when she first got pregnant, I took care of Deja up to the point where she lost her husband and everything was basically into crap. I looked after her through our ups and downs. We still came back together and tried to fix things. Now, get this. I went through a phase where after my lease ended in Bellevue, I canceled it. I no longer wanted to pay rent. Just had really bad memories in that house. That's also a story for another time. So I canceled it. And once I canceled it, I just kind of started being on my own for a while. After her husband's death, I kind of like uh, checked up on her sometimes. And I think somewhere in the summertime, um, I stopped visiting her out of dislike for her family. And my dislike for her family is that they only cared about her after her husband passed. They only was there for her after he passed. They were never there for her while he was alive. And before, when she was married, they abandoned her. They destroyed her inside and out. And I stepped up to the plate. And no matter how hard me and her had it, I made sure that she was good. I found a way for us to reconcile things. I think that's the right word. I found a way to make sure that me and her were good. And then after me going through my phase where like I was kind of like staying with my mom and I was dealing with some other things, which is a story for another time. And I was dating somebody, and then eventually, like during this time I was dating somebody, me and Deja kind of fell off because, like I said, her family was in love with her all of a sudden. And then I go missing. Sorry, I burped. I don't know if you're gonna hear it. Sorry in advance. And then I stopped hanging out with her because I just didn't mess with her family because they were fake as fuck. They were literally fake as fuck. They was never there for her. And I mean every word I say. Even if they hear this later, I really do not care. They was never there for her. I was there for her. So I kind of let her go once she got pregnant, which I like to add. I predicted it. I predicted her pregnancy. And I was the first person to tell her she was pregnant. So after that, we fell off. I was dating, I was going through my own thing, and I was sorry for I already told you guys that story. I already told you the story of of Davion. I was gonna explain that in here, but I don't have to because I already told it. I feel so proud of myself. But anyways, um, when I had nowhere to stay and I was going through something, and then Deja later on, like once she gave birth, she had her own place and everything. She was getting started and everything. She she never really spoke to me. We barely were talking, and she also never said that she has her own place now. Mind you, during this time I was going through something. As I was saying, towards the pregnancy, I kind of kept contact, but we weren't really talking like that. But anyways, while I was going through my own thing and I was really struggling, she never quite. I always checked up on her. She never checked up on me. So it's like towards the end, I always wondered in the back of my head, like if she ever really cared about me. But then again, I never really said nothing. I just kind of checked up on her sometimes. Sorry, I burped again. I'm so sorry. I'm nasty. Nah, actually, I'm not trying to impress anyone, so fuck it. Um, if you don't like the fact that I burped, see your way out. Anyways, here I go. When Deja got her place, I don't know if I said L earlier, but this is about Deja. If I said L, my bad. So when Deja got her own place, she never thought of me. You know what I mean? She never. I heard she had her own place from other people, and at that time I was going through something myself, and I'm just like, in my head it's like, anyways, once someone told me, trust me, someone close enough to know that it's a fact, told me like, hey, by the way, Deja has her own place. How come she never told you, like, hey, Nina, I see you're going through a struggle. Why don't you come stay with me? And then I end up telling this person, like, why would I go to her and ask that when she could come to me and tell me that? I'm not asking her that. Thank you. And I sure as hell didn't. And I wasn't mad about it, but I did wait for her to say something. If she had offered, I mean, I wouldn't have minded, but I'm not a beggar. I'm not going to beg you to do something for me. If she would have brought it up, even if I had said no, I'm cool, because I still knew while I was sleeping, because at this point, I was like staying with my cousin. But if she would have told me, I got my crib, I know how much you did for me, and I don't mind doing it for you since you're going through something, that would have been very sweet. But that was not her first thought. So the reason Deja never told me that she ever had her own place was because I supposedly her parents told her, oh, don't mess with Nina. But the thing is, when my parent was telling me don't mess with Deja since 2018, I still took care of Deja regardless. Because I was like, nah, you're not going to tell me not to help her out when I can. I still did. Like, I still did it. So for Deja to just, like, all of a sudden be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to mess with her, it's kind of weird. And then the other thing that was said was, Deja apparently said, oh, I can't hang with Nina because she does drugs. And to me, it's like, what? When you was doing drugs, Miss Ma'am, who had your back? When you had nothing, ma'am, who had your back? But today, this is what you're saying about me? Today, this is what you're saying about me? Oh, okay, I see. But I never told her this, though. But that's what I thought in my head when I was told that this is what she said. And it's not like I was told from a source like 3 persons down. Straight from the source, straight from the person she spoke to, because I think they was talking on the phone. That is how that came to me. And then still, I never told her this is what you said by this time. Kept it to myself, and I was like, oh well, it is what it is, I guess. Miss Ma'am is doing way better than me, and how could she possibly mess with me because I'm doing so terrible in life? Oh well, I let it go. I had no animosity. I just always wondered, I don't get you, Deja. I don't get you. I don't get you, Miss Ma'am. I don't get you. But again, I don't talk to her. I just kind of let everything be still. When the baby was born, I literally went and spent 250. I know it's not much, but to me it was. I spent 250 on the baby, and I gifted her baby clothes and everything out of respect for her husband who had passed. May he rest in peace. And out of respect for her, because that's what she always wanted, especially the gender. That is love. If Deja ever says anything about me, I want to tell her that is what love is. Even when we're going through our hardest times, you still gotta step to the people who are always there for you, and that's how I seen her. But then again, at the end of the day, I was still the bad guy. So eventually, she just kind of, when I visited her home, eventually, I don't know who she told. Again, she's always telling someone who's too close to me to tell me that stuff. She told them, like, oh, by the way, Nina's not allowed to come over to my crib no more. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, have I physically fought you? Have I mentally messed you up? No, I haven't. I have what I do. Like, I'm on my business. I rarely come to you. I barely visit you. I only came there to, like, one time I spent the night because I was venting. Another time I spent the night. I think I came to see the baby. That's about it. I never made it a habit to always go there. It was like visiting because, newly born baby. But I guess that was enough for her. So I kind of stepped back. I'm not gonna beg nobody. I'm not gonna beg you for your love. Was I offended? Now, yes. I'll safely say I started getting offended, but I did not say anything. I kept it to myself because I just don't want no beef. I don't want altercation. Just kept it to myself. So I go about my day. Mind you, at this point, I'm going through a healing process because I lost my baby. I'm going through. I think I lost my job. I was going through that. My car messed up. I was going through a lot basically. So I just kind of like went separate ways from her, and I said nothing. The entire time I said absolutely nothing. Like I just stopped speaking to her. Period. But again, it's not like I was beefing. I just kind of was still. I just didn't care. I was still. She could do whatever she wants. I was just still. Until recently, she said, recently she went to a close cousin of mine and she was like, Nina had men going in and outside of your house, etc. And then she said, what else did she say? She said that I basically turned my cousin's house into a trap house. And I'm just like, and as my cousin is telling me this because that's who the source was. She was really close with my cousin. And I was like, now why? Why would Deja say that? Why would Deja say that? Why would Deja say that? Deja knows I stayed with my cousin, right? So why would Deja go out of her way to say something this terrible about me to my cousin? Was she like trying to make sure that I was actually homeless and didn't have a home? Did she want me to get kicked out of the crib so I was homeless completely? Like, I didn't understand why Deja said what she said. That offended me. Like, why would you say something that would possibly piss somebody off to the point where they think like, oh, Nina, you did me wrong and you shouldn't be here type shit. That's how I seen it as. It's like, why would you say that? And then I end up inboxing Deja and I gave her a long speech and I said, for a person that I was there for a long time, you sure have a lot to say. And the fact that I took care of you for a hot minute just for you today to be like, oh, I cannot mess with Nina because she's on drugs, that is, it's a low blow. You're doing too much, Deja. And you know what? You don't have to fuck with me. And speaking of drugs, was you not doing that for a hot minute? Was I not the one telling you maybe you should stop? Oh, I also, was I not the one telling you, oh, maybe you shouldn't do this because you are pregnant? Was I not, Deja? But all of the sudden, I'm the villain. You want me to suffer in life and have nothing? Oh, Deja, such a sweet, sweet girl. Bless your heart. But I never want to see you again. The only thing I'm gonna do is come see my nieces and my nephews. You no longer matter. Fuck off. And I mean that shit. And I stayed with my word. I seen my niece and my nephew at their birthdays. That's about it. Didn't speak to her, didn't eat no food. That's it. That's all I went there to go wish them happy birthday, and then I left. I don't mess with Deja anymore. We don't. We don't hang around in the same group. I cut them off. Now, am I a bad friend for deciding to cut them off? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like, when I tell you, me and her went through a lot, we did went through a lot together, but we always came back together and fixed it. So, for a female who has done a lot, let me change that because some people find it offensive to say female. I mean it like a disgusting word. It's English. I really, anyways, for a woman to come at me so disrespectfully, knowing what they've been through and what they have done, but to look back at me and be like, oh, Nina is a bad person. You gotta be one strong bitch. Do that. Like you now. Now that's what I don't get. Like all the respect I have for you, and this is how you want to end things. Okay, then okay. But that's between me and her. And I also told her like, hey, knowing what you did, don't come for me because we could literally go at it if you want to, or leave me alone. That's all I ever asked, like to be left alone. Like let me be, let me live my life even if it's terrible. You live your life even if it's terrible. Call it a day. Like stay in your lane, I'm gonna stay in my lane. I don't like when people literally come back into my life, not as a friend, but just to talk shit. And it's like, you think I won't talk shit? You think I'm just gonna play dead and quiet? No. You can come at me any way you want to. It's 2022. I don't care. I have nothing to lose. I'm not a bad friend just because I decided I gotta stand up for myself because you're doing something wrong. Next time, don't do nothing wrong. I mean, I let little bad rumors slide, but when it comes to bigger issues, I'm a step. I'm a step. I'm I'm not always crazy, but when you try to come at me hard, I'm gonna do worse. Mainly because it's to teach you a lesson. Leave me alone. I literally want to be left alone. I'm trying to work on myself. You bringing me back down. My self improvement isn't self improving because you're doing too much. And it's like, my main point is that I don't want no one, especially Deja. I don't want Deja thinking that she can step on me and it's okay. No, you may not step on me. Enough is enough. I'm done. Like I'm done. I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like the beef, the sarcasm, the shade. I'm done with it. Like you're good, Deja. Live your life. Live your life. Be the best mom you want to be. By all means, if you don't want to be friends with me, then we just cannot be friends. But do not act like I was never there for you. Don't act like when you had nothing. Like my bad. Don't act like when you had nobody, I wasn't there for you. Don't do that. I played a big role in Deja's life. I never once tried to like completely like cut her off and all that stuff. No, I was always there. I tried to fix it, try to be the bigger person. I was a little slow, but I tried. What matters is that I fucking tried. I did the best I could. But I guess that's how me and Deja's friendship story just ended. I don't know if I'll ever fix a relationship. I low key don't want to. It's not worth it. It really isn't. She should just keep her mouth shut regarding me and my personal life because, baby, you drag me, I'll drag you down with me. Don't do me. Don't come for me because I will just, if, let's just be truthful here. You do some, I'm gonna do worse. And that's just how I am. I'm sorry. That's the new me. I don't care about nothing else. Like, no, I'm not gonna get walked on anymore. So good riddance and good luck to her. I just don't want to be bothered. But I do wish her luck though, and I actually mean it when I say I wish someone luck. I just don't want them coming in my lane and being disrespectful. You come in my lane, you be respectful and stay respectful. Otherwise, step out. Step out. Step out without saying a word, I'll leave you alone. But step out and then go say something, especially something that's not true, I'm coming for that ass.